Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. If you're a regular viewer, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, thanks so much for dropping by. I hope everyone's been doing well since my last video. Here in Arkansas, we've been having some really beautiful weather with warm sunny days in the high 50s and low 60s. I can't hardly believe that next month is spring and that in a few short weeks, all this cold weather will be behind us. In today's video, I'd like to share my latest sewing project, and that is a really cute sweatshirt by McCalls. I don't think this video is going to be very long, so I hope you can stick around to the end. But before we get started, I'll let you know what I'm wearing today. It's the Lindsey sweatshirt by Ellie and Mac. I did a full review of this, I think a couple of months ago, so if you want to know more about it, I'll link that video in the description below. But I've really enjoyed wearing it. It's just kind of a oversized sweatshirt that you can color block, 3 colors, 3 prints, or 2. This one I did in 3. And I put the kangaroo pocket on the front. You can also put a hood instead of the crew neck, but I just did the crew neck. But it's been really comfortable, cozy sweatshirt to wear during these cooler months. So the sweatshirt I'm reviewing today is McCalls M8054. Now I believe this is an older pattern. I'm not sure if they still carry it in the McCalls pattern books. I did get this one, I think, off of Amazon. This pattern has 3 different views. The version I made was view A with the crew neck and the contrasting side panels. You can also make this with a hood instead, or it also has a jacket pattern included. This pattern comes in sizes small to extra, extra, extra large, which is a bust size of 34 to 56 inches. And the finished bust size for the sweatshirt is 38 to 58 inches. So it has several inches of ease included in it. The pattern suggests moderate stretch knits such as sweatshirt fleece, cotton knit, knitted velour, or fleece. And on the pattern back, it suggests for the contrast, faux leather or suede. So like I said, I think this is an older pattern. I think if you use faux leather or suede now, it may look outdated. So I think it would be better if you did the contrast like in the sweatshirt knit or like a rib knit and skip the faux leather and the suede. The fabric I chose to make it in is a really cute print by Guthrie Ghani. I love this sage green background. And the flowers, some of them have little line heads inside of them. For the contrast, I used a dark navy. It may look black on camera, but it's actually a dark navy and it matches these leaves. This is just some sweatshirt fleece that I got from Sewing Studio, where I also got the fabric for this sweatshirt I'm wearing. I guess I'll start out by saying that this sweatshirt was a really enjoyable sew. It may even be the most enjoyable pattern I've made since I started sewing again about a year ago. I really like how this is a sweatshirt, but it's not your typical sweatshirt because it has these contrasting sides. And I really like how it has some shape to the midsection especially. It is still fairly roomy, and I'll try it on in a little bit in the shoulders, but it is more of a fitted look here. So you have the comfort of a sweatshirt, but I think it's just a little more stylish than the average sweatshirt, and it makes you look a little more put together. For this sweatshirt, I used both my serger and my regular sewing machine. I did all the seams on the serger, but it did suggest that you could put some top stitching on the sweatshirt, and so I just did that on my regular sewing machine. And this fabric was really nice to work with. It didn't like crawl or creep around. It top stitched really nicely. It was just really nice to work with. So I top stitched the raglan shoulders here on the front and the back, and then along these panels on the green part on the front and the back. So this pattern goes together really easily. So to make the sweatshirt, you're going to start out by sewing the front side pieces to the front and the back side pieces to the back. And then next you're going to do a dart here in the shoulder. Then you'll connect the front to the sleeve and then the back to the sleeve. And after that, they have you put the neckband in. Now, the only difficulty I had on this pattern was the neckband. And it wasn't really the pattern's fault. It was the fabric that I chose. The sweatshirt fleece does have some stretch, but it's not a lot of stretch. And I just noticed when I was getting ready for this video, I was looking at the back of the pattern, and it has a little stretch guide. I don't know if you can see it, but it gives you this line across here. And it says to take 4 inches of the width of your fabric and, and make a double it like it's going to be a band. And then it says it should stretch. Here's the 4 inches. It should stretch from here to here. Well, I didn't even really notice that before I made it. So I thought, well, let me get my scraps out and I'll see if my fabric actually stretches that far. And this fleece right here didn't really, it lacked about 1/4 of an inch getting to the line that it was supposed to stretch to. Now, if I had done that test before I made it, I probably would have maybe lengthened the neckband just slightly, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. But I didn't do the test. So what I had to do was just stretch this neckband as hard as I could and as far as I could, and it just barely made it. I did manage to get it in the neck without any puckers, but it just barely went in. Now, if I was making it again with the same fabric, I probably would add maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch just to get it a little more wiggle room. Because if it had been a stretchier fabric like a rib knit, I don't think there would have been any problem at all. I also had sort of the same problems with the cuffs. I really had to stretch them out too, but I wouldn't want to make the cuffs any wider because they're already fairly loose on my wrist. I did forget to say that I made a size small because my bust is about 34.5 inches and the small was a range of 34 to 36. And I did shorten this 2 inches in the body and 2 inches in the sleeves. And I'll try it on in a minute. You can see how that falls on me. I'm 5'2". It's probably made for someone about 5'6", I would say. But after you get the neckband on, then you just do a seam from the sides all the way down the sleeves. And then after that, you just have your wristbands to put on. And I think the wristbands, you wouldn't have to stretch them a whole lot if they were more of a stretchy fabric, like a heavy t-shirt fabric, cotton knit, or a rib knit. Now, I think it'd be really cute if you could find some contrasting rib knit that is by the yard and not, just a little strip, so that you'd have a section wide enough to do the whole side. I think that would be really cute. So after I put the wristbands on, then you've just got the hem left. And normally I would do the hem on my sweatshirts and t-shirts with my cover stitch machine. But on this one, all I did was I serged the edge to give it a nice finish on this side. And then I top stitch it on my regular sew machine. And when I did the top stitching, I think I did like maybe a 2.8 stitch length. So that went together really well. This hem kind of dips in the front and the back. It kind of goes up on the side. So really cute. Here's the back. So I just think it's a really cute sweatshirt. So now I'm going to go put it on and you can see how it looks on me. So here's the finished sweatshirt on. I really like the length with the 2 inches shortened on the torso. I think it came out just the perfect length. Here's the back. Now my sleeves I shortened by 2 inches, and I probably could have shortened them another 1/2 inch to 1 inch, but I'd rather have them, you know, just a little bit longer than too short. You know, it could shrink a little bit over time, even though I did pre-wash it. I really like this fabric. It's got a really soft backing to it on this fleece, so it's very comfortable. And even though it looks more fitted than a regular sweatshirt, it still has a lot of ease, especially the chest and shoulders have quite a bit of room in them. And even though the torso, you know, looks fitted, it's not skin tight or anything. It still has some ease. So if you want it just a little bit looser, I would probably not change the top, just make like from maybe right below the seam right here on your armhole, the side maybe just a little bit wider, unless you just want it overall bigger, then you could size up. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed hearing about McCalls 8054. I do plan to make this pattern again. I may make the next one maybe with a hood. That looks really cute. One thing I also enjoyed was that, you know, it was a printed pattern with the tissue paper. I hadn't made a big 4 pattern in a while, so it was really nice not having to print the pattern out and tape it together. It just made it seem like it went together a lot faster. And I know most of you, maybe 90-something% of you will already know this, but in case I have any viewers out there that are brand new to sewing, maybe brand new to using this type of pattern that's on the tissue paper, I just wanted to give you a little tip that I learned from my mom. So my mom is sewed a lot, and she always wanted her patterns to look nice and neat when she got finished. And sometimes she sewed for ladies in the community, and of course she wanted, when she gave the pattern back, she wanted it to, you know, look tidy and everything. So what my mom would do when she got through the pattern pieces, she would lay them on her ironing board, maybe like each piece at a time, and she would press the pieces. And when you do this, you don't want your iron like on the hottest temperature. I just kind of put my iron like midway on the temperature, but you just briefly smooth over the pattern, and then you kind of stack all your pattern pieces kind of in a neat pile, and then you start folding them and pressing as you fold the creases until you get it into a little rectangle that's going to fit in your pattern. So I'll show you what mine looks like. Okay, so these were the pieces that I used. So you can see how they're all pressed and folded back nicely. And it's very quick. And then it just slides right down into your envelope, and it looks like you never even used it. So maybe there's a couple of you out there that didn't know that already. I'm sure, like I said, a lot of you already know that because you've been sewing for a while. But I just wanted to share that in case maybe someone didn't know that, and they're trying to cram their pattern pieces back into that tiny envelope. So I forgot to mention at the beginning, but last month, I guess it was, I made a make 9 video. So this sweatshirt is my first make of my make 9. So now I just have 8 left. My next project is going to be another of the make 9, and it's going to be the Castillo cardigan by Itch to Stitch. So I want to get as many of the wintry patterns made up that I can before springtime. I've also been working on a gift idea video, and that will probably be the one that I put out next. The video is actually going to be in 2 different parts, 2 different videos. I'm not going to say what the items are, but they all have a common theme. But my list was getting so long that if I made one video, it's going to be terribly long. So it's going to have a part 1 and a part 2. So part 1 should be coming out, I think, in about a week. I think I've got an example of everything made up, except I think I have one last thing to make. So I really appreciate you watching my video. If you enjoyed it, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I would love to hear any comments that you'd like to leave. Since my last video, I got some good comments about the corduroy fabric. I had showed that I was looking for a jacket pattern for, and I had gotten a couple of suggestions for that fabric, and I think I am going to use one of those to make it up in. So I'm really excited about that. If you saw my last video, I had done a review of French Navy's portmanteau shacket, and I still haven't got any buttons or snaps on it. I was kind of leaning towards buttons, but then I saw several versions that had used snaps, and I thought, oh, that looks great. I really liked how the snaps looked, and I had watched a video by Christine of Christine Sews a Lot last week where she demonstrated her cam snap press or cam press. So I decided to get one of those. So I just got that in. It's the cam press, and I should be able to put the snaps in fairly easily. I haven't practiced it with it yet. And then I thought it would also be good to put rivets like in clothes and bags, or the magnetic snaps like in bags. And then also, you know, it's got dies that you can buy to put grommets in. So I probably wouldn't have, you know, bought it just for one jacket, but I hope to use it in a lot of different garments in the future. And it is kind of an investment at the beginning because you have to buy the press, then you have to buy individual sizes of the dies to set the snaps or rivets. But once you get all those, then you just have to buy, you know, the snaps and rivets or grommets, and they're fairly inexpensive. So I'm really excited to play around with that, and hopefully I'll have some snaps in my shacket soon, and I'll be able to show you how it looks when I get it done. So until I see you in my next video, take care and happy sewing.